Today, we're only a few days ahead of our national election next week, and many of you perhaps have already voted early or by mailing in your ballot. And today's scripture from 1 Peter chapter 2 actually speaks a little bit to how we are to live as servants of God. And in verses 13 to 16, I'm going to read you this whole section. For the Lord's sake, accept the authority of every human institution, whether of the emperor as supreme or of governors as sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to praise those who do right. For it is God's will that by doing right you should silence the ignorance of the foolish. Our verse for the day is next, verse 16. As servants of God, live as free people, yet do not use your freedom as a pretext for evil. Verse 17. Honor everyone, love the family of believers, fear God, honor the emperor. Part of what we see in 1 Peter is one New Testament book's view towards the governing authorities. One of the things we see is that if there is protection granted by the governing authorities, for example, like Paul had as a Roman citizen, or as Peter is describing here, it's, hey, these institutions, we accept their authority and they're there to punish those who do wrong and to support those who do right. In the book of Revelation, which we'll be talking about before long, we see an entirely different view of the governing authorities as being an instrument of evil and of power being wielded in ways that is ungodly. What I see in our culture today is that people tend to switch their view of the government depending on whether or not their preferred party or candidate wins and is in power or loses. And we've seen that kind of in the current political campaign. For those who support one side or the other, it's our side is good, the other side is bad. If our side's in power, then support those who are in authority, and if they're not, we tend to take a more revelation view. But the important thing is that we live as free people, that we have the freedom, thankfully, to choose how we're going to live, and we don't use our freedom as a pretext for evil. We don't use our freedom to do things that Jesus and the Bible would not want us to do and expressly speak against. And so that's one of the things we have to make sure as individuals, that we are using our freedom properly, that we are using it to grow in godliness, we are using it to serve our community, we are using it to make our country and the world even a better place. And that means that we use our freedom to speak and think and act as Jesus would if he were living our life. And I pray for our nation, no matter what happens in the election next week. There is a lot of work that needs to be done for us truly to be the United States of America. And I pray that we can get there together.